Hello everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside and a very warm welcome to you all. As you remember on my last video, I showed you a few gifts which Rob gave me, Rob McCrane, when I visited him in Colorado last week and the week before. And obviously you've seen the Santa Fe running. And so Monday, I think it was, I ordered a sound decoder and a 1700 microfarad stay alive capacitor for the class 73, sorry, the class 43, and which he gave me. That arrived today, so I've spent probably a couple of hours fitting that in, and the main time was taken up fitting the speaker, to be honest. I did try a bass reflex speaker in it, but it was just a little bit too tight, so I'm going to have to think about that again. But in the meantime, I've just put in the standard little round one, which is okay, it gives me the sound, but obviously the quality isn't great, but it's it shows it's working. So let's bring that into camera shot. And there she is in all her glory. Now I have got the class 42 as well, a Bachmann class 42. This is the 43, so a nice pair to have. And it's been retooled, I think, because it's quite different on the inside compared to the 42. And it's really nice, very smooth. She dries lovely, especially with this U-Choose decoder. I think there's probably about 20 functions on it altogether. Some of them I probably won't use ever, but there's quite a few on there which I will use. The loco itself is absolutely fantastic. As I say, it runs so smoothly straight out of the box, and it's not actually totally running yet. I've given it about half an hour each way, but I like to give it about another half hour as well, with a small load behind it. Excuse me, with a small load behind it, and just run it in a little further. But for the time being, it's fine. Everything works on it. I've spent quite a bit of time doing the detailing on it, and there's a massive amount of parts in the box to add, which was roof vents, a front valance and a rear valance, but I've only put the front valance on because I hardly ever have a coupling at the front of my diesels. I normally just have them running one way, so that I can fit all the buffer beam accessories on it. I did fit some side steps on it, which go right in the middle of, just underneath where you see the cab door, so it's central within the bogie, but they were fouling on the bogies when going around some of the curves on Lakeside at the moment. So I've taken those steps off and she runs fine now. And they also give you two kinds of steps, one for tighter radius, which is the ones I put on, but obviously I've got tighter radiuses, radii, perhaps that should be, than they anticipated. I think it's second radius, and obviously I've got one or two curves up here on the upper track, which it's on at the moment, which is obviously tighter than second radius. Anyway, I've taken those off, and yeah, she runs fine. So let's just do a few of the sounds on it. Lights obviously at the front, and cab lights. Nice thing about the cab lights, they don't just come on, they kind of start up and come on, not slowly, but it's not instant, which is a little bit more realistic. Front head code and rear lights, etc. And I'll just do a few of the sounds, I won't do all of them. So the main sound, and bearing in mind it's a little tiny roof mounted round speaker which I've got in there at the moment. Okay, so this is the initial startup sound. And that, I think, actually is not too bad. I have to admit, with having sound on locos, I do get a little bit, it's okay for the first few minutes, but then after that, especially if we've got two locos running, I tend to turn the sound off because it just gets too much. But this is okay. I've turned the sound down a bit too. So that's the basic engine startup and the sound. Horn, just a little horn, double, and a cute little short double. There's also a guard's whistle, coach doors, rail squeal. Quite like that. That's the obviously it goes over the joins on the track, and the coach is all the loco. Cab door and two announcements. And the second announcement, I think, is probably the best one. That sounds quite realistic, so it'd be very nice having that when it's poured into a station. There are a few other functions on it which I won't bother to go into, because that is primarily for my benefit of turning the sound up, turning the sound down, fade in, fade out, etc, etc. So there she is in all her glory. I say she runs sweet as a nut, and it's on the top level, which is not the kindest of tracks for any loco to go around, hence for me taking the side steps off. But hopefully that'll be rectified in version 2 of Lakeside. So let's take it around the track a couple of times and see what she says. So I'm going to take this off the tripod, so bear with me while the camera shakes. I'll just show you the lighting at the front. So we've got cab lights coming on and off. We'll do that again. So they come on quite nicely. And the front head code, obviously, and you'll get the red light, one single red light at the back. So we can leave that like it is, I think, and we'll get her going. Take the zoom off, and off she goes. I've got bright sunlight coming straight through the windows, sorry about that. It's a lovely day out there. We'll get it again in a minute. Right, let's pop the camera back. There we go. Turn the sound off. And it takes just a little while for it to actually turn off. And there we go. So, thank you very much, Rob, if you're watching this. Really is appreciated, and it, as you can see, it goes like a dream and sounds really good. I might have a look at putting another speaker in it, but I think for the moment that's quite good enough. Certainly no way will a EM2 speaker fit in there, but I'll have a look and see if I can fit the bass reflex speaker in and see what happens on that. So that's about it again for the moment. I may do another video later while I'm packing up Lakeside. I've got a long way to go yet before I dismantle the layout itself. I've got all the boxing up to do of the rolling stock first, which I'm in the middle of at the moment. I've done about 25 locos so far, so it's about another 75 to go. So it's going to take a while before that actually starts happening as regards to dismantling. I have ordered now a set of El Capitan coaches for the F7 Santa Fe loco, which also Rob bought me, which you saw in the last video. And I was going to buy them individually, the coaches or the cars, but it's quite difficult trying to do it that way because there is quite a mixture of the cars themselves, the types, and also whether you get the El Capitan or other variants like Super Chief. I opted to go for the El Capitan because they seem to be the most popular, and I actually found that Walthers, who made the F7, also did a few years ago a matching set of 8 cars, all different numbered, and they called it their deluxe set. And wow, it is a deluxe set. 2 of the coaches have I think maybe even 3, but I certainly know that 2 of the coaches have a separate sound decoder in them for various applications on the different cars, and certainly they are all lit, and also they have got, it's populated, the whole 8 coaches are populated with a total of 130 people. So it's an amazing set, absolutely amazing. Expensive, but really lovely, really lovely. Now, as a bit of a clue to the next Lakeside, this is something which I'm thinking of. Now, as you know, I've got a 2-level track, the upper level, which you can see at the moment, and I'm just going to move the camera again, and 2 tracks on the lower level. And my plan now is I'm still going to have the basic layout. Oh, hold on a minute. I'm still going to have the basic layout, which I was thinking of doing anyway, which I've got planned out, but with an addition of this top level here. It was all going to be 1 level, okay, the original plan, all 1 level. But what I'm thinking now is to have a top level which is going to be completely separate from the bottom level, and that top level will be for a USA layout. Now I know a lot of you will be sucking in through your teeth and, oh no, I don't care. I think that's going to be an ideal opportunity for me to develop 2 layouts in one. So on the upper level I can have the US layout and make that characteristic of the US, and on the underneath will be the UK layout. Now they won't be they won't be separate as such. They will be, as you see there, with a retaining wall or I don't know, embankments or whatever, so that I will just have the minimum width of 2 tracks running all the way around, right on the outer edges, with the UK track coming sort of further in here, that way, where that track is now, if you imagine. And they won't be connected, there won't be an incline connecting the two, it's just going to be straight flat track. One of the reasons is that I want this new layout to be as simplistic as possible, minimum amount of point work, no inclines to worry about, nothing like that. It's going to be quite simplistic, but I'm going to make it interesting, and you're going to have to wait and find out how I do that. But it's all in my head, I've got it reasonably well planned out what I'm going to do, and it won't be boring, put it that way. I'm going to say no more on that, but you'll have to wait until next year probably before you start seeing the real developments of that happening. So that's the plan at the moment. Top level US, bottom level UK. So that way I can run US stuff and UK stuff without anybody sucking through their teeth and saying no, you can't do that. It's 2 different worlds, and never the twain shall meet. But at least I can have them realistically scenic out as much as I can. But obviously the US one is going to be much more simpler than the UK one. It just gives me the opportunity to run some US stock. Now I've got at least 1 US train. I would like to get another one too. Okay, so that's a brief overview. That's 17 minutes gone already. So I will shut up and finish this video. And thank you once again, Rob, for the Class 43. Absolutely fabulous. Love it to bits. And I really appreciate your generosity in that. So bye for now, folks, and I'll speak to you again soon. Maybe in a week or so's time, when these coaches arrive into the UK and I get them delivered here, you might even see the Santa Fe running around with these coaches on. So those of you who are interested in seeing that, great. Those of you who aren't interested in seeing that, that's also great. I don't care. Right, okay, so that's all for me now, folks. So bye for now, and I'll speak to you again soon. So bye.